Sure. You just don't. I won't take that card over.
Yeah, we'll have to share a spot.
Hey everybody, I want to get everybody's attention. I want you to be aware we have two exits. There's an exit and here is an exit. This goes to the outside of the building. Also, we have live streaming going on in the teen area right now. If this is too crowded for you, please feel free to go to the teen area and it's on TV back there live streaming. I think we reached probably capacity in here. So, I think we've reached our capacity. So, yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay, everybody, we have, this is an awesome program. I've seen it like 4 times. They're animal tales, and you're going to love the program. So let's go.
All right, thank you. Good evening. My name is Jeff, and I am from Animal Tales. Now, I brought animals with some amazing powers. There's things these animals can do that really no other like them. I will tell you, if you like the program, please like us on Facebook. If you don't, this is my and probably not as much tonight on some of our animals. We have some volunteers, but not as many as usual. We've got some animals with special strengths, we'll say. So we won't be able to share with the little guys on that. A little bit about me. My name is Jeff, and we do these programs in a 15-state area. We do birthdays and library programs, which is probably the center of everything we do at schools, and we even do creation programs in churches. So we do a little bit of everything. Let's see. We do have an exotic farm. I like it. It's really cool. I wanted to say it a minute ago. So we do have an exotic farm. We have over 100 animals at our farm and a little bit of everything. So we're really into what we do. It's fun to us, and hopefully you'll find that out. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. Really, because we kind of changed some animals around. She wanted some different things. So I'm excited about all of them. I'm trying to decide which one to start with. Usually I have like a really regimented. So we'll just get into something fun right off the bat. Well, I don't usually start with it. I usually start small, but they're all kind of fun. So this is not a spider. This is a tarantula. So this is called a salmon bird-eating tarantula. Now, here's my favorite thing. Guess what salmon bird-eating tarantulas don't eat? Yeah, so, and there's a couple of reasons why. Tarantulas, number one, tarantulas really like to run along on the ground. They hide in, burrow in, and this particular animal, it actually likes to kind of sneak up on its prey, jump on it, get its fangs in, get its venom in, and do its thing. So, and they're not arboreal at all. In other words, they don't like to be in trees. As a matter of fact, if I drop this animal from right here to the ground, it would probably break in half and die on the impact. So they are exoskeletons, so they are very brittle, and I will be very careful with Charlotte. I will tell you that I thought she was going to mold, so I was kind of holding out a little bit, but she doesn't look like she's going to. And I just realized I've got two of the same glove. Cool. All right, now we're good. This is kind of my guide. I really am a keeper. All right. Now, so just so you understand, if it has a mouth, it's capable of biting. I will tell you the reason I like to wear long gloves with her. I gave one of my lieutenants the other long gloves, so he'd have one and I have one. What they do, and I'll show you. Let's see if we can just do that. Now, I appreciate it. So I want to show you a couple of things about it. So this animal has a couple of things that make it to where you want to wear the glove. So they have a two-section body. On the front section, you find their fangs and their 8 legs. On the back, on their abdomen, the reason that I wear the glove, what she'll do is if she gets nervous at all, what she'll do. Thank you. What she'll do if she gets nervous is she'll take her 2 back legs and she has little fine hairs on the back, and she will take those hairs and scrape them off. And I would liken it to maybe fiberglass, a little worse, very itchy hair. And what it does, it makes it where she can get away from a predator of hers. Now, when these animals begin to molt, if she molts, now there's cool things about it. So if she happens to molt, it will make another tarantula look just like this. So you'll come in one day and there's going to be 2 tarantulas sitting there, and you go, cool, they're 2. It's not the case though. There's one with a hole in it, and they literally pop their body out of that. Now, for 48 hours, they are totally submissive. They have no strength, and they are bait in the wild. They will do everything they can to burrow and get away from any type of predator because there's not a thing in the world they can do because it's such a big change for them to molt. Now, the fun thing is you have 8 legs, 2 fangs, and the body, and then you have one little circle that comes out of it where they pop their body out. It's the weirdest looking thing you'll ever see, but totally cool. Now, this is a girl. And the girls get a little bigger than the boys. She's all about medium size. She'll get about 12 inches in diameter as an adult. And so, let's see, what else? Yeah, she's really close to molting. Now, you notice she'll only she has her 1 leg that's up. She can't decide whether she should be nervous or not. She's really good. She's doing all right. Normally, they tend to be a little more aggressive, and I call it treadmilling. I'll sit and use 2 gloves and just have them just sit and keep going until I give in or they get tired. And usually they win. So, yeah, they'll live about 5 to 7 years in the wild. Also, I will tell you that, like I said, now they're not arboreal. They only want to hunt on the ground. They love to live in like old logs, things like that, the rainforest floor. And what they'll do is they literally will come out and they will pounce on their food. They'll eat small snakes. They love all kinds of insects. They'll eat small lizards, things like that. Mostly insects, so that's really the main diet for them. But they will eat some bigger things, little bitty mammals like tiny mice, things like that. So very unusual, pretty cool animal.
No.
And
Hey, you act that way, we're going
oh,
home right
here's
now.
something else. Let's see
You
if I
won't be
can
able to see the kangaroo. You behave. That is
The last time I did this, she ran my arm. Changing because she went under the shirt.
Oh.
Yeah, it does get your attention. Tell you what, because she's so close to molding, I'm just trying to be careful with it. You can pull silk out, but they don't actually make webs. That's not how they do their thing. So it's strictly by venom, and they strike their prey that way. They don't spin a web. Now she has a small web in the bottom, but it's just from where she's walking around, and I can pull the silk out usually when she's not close to where she is now. I would normally just pull the silk out. It's kind of fun. It'll just keep coming in, never stop. So they do have that capability, but it's just not something they do. So any questions? I know I have weird gloves. All right. All right. Okay, so that's Charlotte. Everybody say bye, Charlotte. Now, what she has, she has like a very stiff hair, like on, I don't know what you call them. I'm trying to think of the word. But they're hair-like, but they can stick to things, and so she can climb somewhat, but she really isn't. They really are smart enough to stay on the ground because they do know that they can break. So definitely capability. All right, let's go something easy. I'm going easy on myself this time. All right. See, to me, this is fun. Everybody say hi. Oh, it's okay. I promise this is my favorite. In fact, he's a little chilly because I have actually have a chinchilla in the car, so we have to keep the car kind of cold. The rest of us freeze. So this is a Brazilian rainbow boa constrictor. His name's Oz, and very unique. So most constrictors, actually most snakes are crepuscular in nature. What that means is they hunt in the evening, hunt in the morning. Except this guy. They like to hunt in the middle of the night. They actually are nocturnal in nature. And what they want to do is normally he'll hang upside down, but now he's trying to suck in as much heat from my arm as he can get. But what they'll do is they'll hang upside down, and remember I said he's a rainbow. So what he'll do is he has a color that when he just slightly turns the reflection of the moon, it shows a rainbow color and will actually attract rodents. So where most animals have to go and get their food, he doesn't because his food comes to him. Now they are ectotherms. That's what he's called. I mean, for him, they really want it very, very warm. So when you see a snake or really any reptile, all reptiles are ectotherms. What that means is they want to stretch out, get as much heat as they can during the day. Then in the evening and the morning, most will hunt, probably 90% of them hunt. And then at night, if it's a snake, they'll coil up, or if it's another type of reptile, they'll tend to get on a rock or something like that that'll hold enough heat to get them through the night, and they start over the next day. So, he is a constrictor. So, do you know that they have 25 pounds per square inch of squeezing power? So, if I had an 8-foot snake, which is a baby, he's not even full grown, but on an 8-foot snake, that would feel like if it was wrapped around your chest and you had a bus sitting on your chest. It is very powerful. Also, they have something else. They actually have pits right here. And those pits, if I turned all the lights off, if I had a mouse this big and I turned all the lights off in here, this little laid-back snake gets very aggressive very, very fast because he knows it's something that he can consume. And they'll consume something that's as big as 5 times as big as the largest part of their body. So what they'll do is, everybody feel your chin right now. You got that little bone in your chin. So for them, they have it as well. So they have this bone as well, but for them, that bone is split. So they can relax their mouth, and they'll open it 180 degrees so that they can take in that food. And do snakes bite? Anything that has a mouth is capable of biting. I will tell you, their teeth actually go in. And the reason they go in is because they're trying to consume their food whole. They take the head. I'm trying to do this generically, but that's what they do. And so they don't want it to back out in case they haven't done enough of the constricting part. So anyway, so to keep the food from backing out, their teeth actually go in, which is an adaptation that they've made. Also, I will tell you, all reptiles throughout their life, they will grow from the beginning, from day one until the end of their life. They always grow every single day of their life. They never stop. This snake will probably live 40 years in captivity, 35 to 40. And really, most of the constrictors can live that long in captivity.
They're not captive.
Well, the reason, it's funny, so the reason that their life is cut shorter in the wild, now for him, maybe he would be a little more bait, because he's easy. So falconry, you know, those kind of things would just take him in a second. He's an easy bait. But for the bigger things, it's because they're hunting. So I actually have one out in the car. I have a hog island bow out in the car, and they're extinct in the wild and have been since 1980. And they're extinct because they were hunted both for food and for their skin. Burmese, same thing. Now, Burmese are in no way, shape, or form endangered, but in Southeast Asia and China, where you tend to find these, where they're the most prevalent, they're hunted heavily. Now, if you've got a snake, you can feed a lot of people off of it. That's just the reality of it. So, you know, that's not unusual to do that. But just so you know, in this particular case, I have a friend that was in Ecuador for a year, and they were on a mission trip. So there were huts, and everybody, she said, "Hey, I have this snake. It's really scary looking." And I said, "Oh, whatever you do, it'll eat all the small stuff, and it'll keep the bad stuff away." So she didn't do it. Everybody else saw a snake. They took care of it. And so everybody else had venomous snakes, and they had what they thought were really big rabbits. I said, "Well, no, those aren't rabbits, those are rats." So they ended up with huge rats, and they ended up with venomous snakes chasing the rats. So, and she didn't. She learned to just move them out of the way if she was walking around. So very docile, great snake. You know, I usually tell people milk snakes or either a milk snake or corn because they're smaller, but if you like a bigger snake, this one will do about 6-7 feet as an adult, really 6-6.5. And they're really great pets. So everybody say bye, Oz. Bye. This is my buddy. Everybody say hi, Thundercracker. Hi, Thundercracker is a sulcata tortoise. I'm going to put him down. Y'all catch him if you run down the room.
Oh, it's a big turtle, Claire. A turtle.
So you laugh. So one of my guys, I'm on video.
Yeah.
All right. Somewhere, somebody had this happen in the world, and what it was, somebody left the gate open, and a tortoise, not one big tortoise, was gone, like gone, because the door had been open 8 hours. He was gone. So what ended up happening was 3 weeks ago, somebody called and said, "Are you missing a tortoise?" And I said, "Yeah, we're missing a tortoise." It was 10 miles from where it started. I'm not saying that happened anywhere. Okay. Just in case my friend happens to see that. All right. So sulcata tortoises, they are an amazing animal. This particular species, it's the third largest in the world. The Alabra and the Galapagos are the largest two, it's third. But they live 105 to 150 years average. There is one on record that's lived over 200, so they really can live a long time. And remember what I said, reptiles never stop growing throughout their life. So a sulcata tortoise, there is nothing for a sulcata tortoise to get this big around its prime. And the Galapagos, they're really quick to get bigger. Now, you find these in Tanzania. You can find them in the savannah as well. And when you find them in those parts of the world, they tend to burrow on the hottest parts of the day, and they are great burrowers. And there's a couple of things about them. So on their bottom side, you'll find, see how flat they are? They're flat because it makes it where they can kind of slide down in a burrow, and they'll just burrow their way. If they're in the sand, they can go straight on down, and you'd never find them. Also, sorry about that big guy. So, all right. So they are. It's kind of cold. Everybody's cold. The only one that's happy is our chinchilla. Everybody else is freezing. It's really cold. All right. So they will burrow a lot. Also, this is a male. You can clearly tell it's a male. And just so you know, so you will know from this day forward. So to tell that a tortoise is male or female or turtle. So the tortoise, the male head, it goes straight down on the backside. That's not much. So it's not. It's okay. Occupational hazard. So it goes straight down on the male. On the female, there's just a little bit of a scoop, just a really slight scoop. And the reason I say slight is because I found some turtles that I'm sitting there looking at them for 5 minutes going, is it not? It's really hard to tell. On a tortoise this size, it's pretty easy. You can tell. It's not a big deal. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Oh, so did you know that turtles and tortoises do not have a diaphragm? So if you ever see one turned upside down, flip it over because it won't make it. It will not survive if it's flipped over. Now, the reason I tell you that, in a breeding sense, they have a funny thing that they do. Two males fighting over a female, they will ram each other until one flips over, and then they really get the female and they try to rush off as fast as the tortoise can rush off. So it's pretty funny, but I only YouTube it. I haven't personally done it because I don't have the heart to watch them get flipped. Now, so everybody, so can a tortoise get out of this? Is a tortoise capable of getting out of the shell? No, it's not. So everybody feel right here. You have a sternum right there, right? Yeah. So for the tortoise, the sternum is right underneath. That is its sternum. And you can't get out of your skeleton, right? So they can't get out of theirs. It's the same thing for them. And look at it this way, they have their own traveling house. They can stop anywhere they want. Trips over, they're really good. Now they are vegetarians. Every once in a while we'll really splurge and let them have sweet potato, but for the most part they like cabbage and all dark green leafy vegetables. And I would say that iceberg lettuce is a no-no. It is almost a bad thing to do. It's kind of like using white potatoes on any animal. It's just not something they can have. Any questions about it? No worries. All right, everybody say bye, Thundercrackers. All right, let's change speeds. Can I have 2 volunteers? 2 little volunteers. So 1 and 2. Come on, guys. What's your name? Ambrose, what's your name? Kelly, all right, good job. All right, Kelly and Ambrose, I want you to both stand right next to me. We're gonna face that way. Now, what I want you to do is on the count of 3, you got a wall, so you're in good shape. I was at Murray State the other day, and there was a cornfield, and I said, okay, just one jump. And I had to go catch the kid. I didn't know what else to do. He just never stopped. So it's like, okay, now one run. Okay, so one jump, count of 3. Can y'all do that for me? Ready? 1. You're going to jump one time. Okay, Kelly? Ready? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, jump! Okay, good enough, good enough. We'll go with that. Nah, it's okay. At least he's still in the building. I'm pretty excited. All right. Give them a round of applause for help. So everybody say hi, Boomerang. Hi. Boomerang is a red kangaroo. Now I'm going to let him down, but we can't really pet him. It's kind of like petting a baby, okay? So we're going to let him run around doing his thing. I just don't want him to go out the door, and he does go for the exits. Just oh, really? He really does. Oh, yeah. All right, So actually what he's doing, he's putting off a scent. When he scratches down on everything an animal does, there's everything. Most things that animals do, there's a reason. They scratch down like this. Both males and females do this, and they do it because they're putting off their scent. Totally normal for them. Now, as soon as I say that, he usually does something really obnoxious, and so he takes it away. All right, so let's talk about him. Everybody get a picture. All right. Okay, yeah, finish that. So let's talk about him a little bit. So this is a red kangaroo. Red kangaroos obviously are from Australia. All marsupials in the world originated in Australia, except for one. Does anybody know what it is? And you got one within a mile here, I'm sure. Not
An armadillo.
no, marsupial.
Armadillo or possum.
Somebody said it. It is a Virginia possum. So every other marsupial originated in Australia. This is the largest marsupial in the world. Not this particular one, obviously. But they average 6 feet, 180 pounds. These animals are big, they're strong, they're aggressive, and when they're adults, after they've been bred once, they actually have a pretty bad attitude. Now, we found one online a few days ago. He was 6 feet 9, weighed 225 pounds. So they are very strong. Can't stress that enough. Now, so I have a question. Do all males and females have a pouch? No, only the females have a pouch. We're going to go through that part really quick. So a female has a baby. It's 7 weeks later. It does go into the pouch, and it will stay for approximately 235 days. Okay. So now, kangaroos live in mobs. They live in mobs anywhere from 3 to 100 kangaroos in a mob. And they have 2 things that they're capable of doing that I would consider superpowers. Now, we had those 2 children jump. There was a reason for that. In one jump, like this isn't enough room. Maybe this is 30 feet. So this animal, one jump could jump the length of this room, no problem. Could jump 30 feet the length of this room in one jump as an adult. They can do over 40 miles an hour. So, and in a mob, that's a big deal for them. So there's 2 reasons why. One is obviously to get away from predators, which, you know, if you can jump 30 feet at a time, you're going to get away from a predator pretty quick. The other reason is because in Australia there's 3 months that's kind of a dry season, and they might have to go 20 miles to get to their next water and food source. Okay. So they might have to go 20 miles to get to their next food and water source. So as a mob, they would travel that way, and of course the baby's in the pouch in tow. They'll live 23 years in the wild, as much as 30 in captivity. Now, there's a couple of things. So one, so they'll sit on their tail and box in an alpha situation, which is two boys fighting over a girl, basically. So when two males do that, they will sit on their tail, use it as a third leg, and they will box another male. Now, it's a little different. If I was to go into his enclosure, this animal that I've been with since he was 3.5 months old, I will not be allowed in that enclosure, trust me. We're building him a 40 by 40, and I'm hoping that's big enough that I can get food in and get back out. So where he would box sitting on his tail with me, he would lead with one of these, and they go for the torso, just so you know. And I mentioned that they're very strong and powerful. It would hurt. So now a few things about them. Distance, yes, they can jump 30 feet in distance. And if you pull it up on Google, it's going to tell you they can jump 10 feet high. I personally had one go about 16, 18 feet right over the top of the head. It's amazing to watch these animals go. No, now I will tell you this. I was in a gymnasium in Kentucky last week, and he went the length of the gym and back in under 10 seconds. He went so fast that they just were they literally just said, all as a group. So it's amazing what they're capable of. Their mothers are really good. The moms are really good. They usually only have one baby at a time. They rarely have twins. It does happen, but it's extremely rare. And they're good enough moms that if they do have twins, the babies are fine and they survive. Now there's also a Western Gray. They're a little bit smaller, 5.5 feet. And there's a Wallaroo. They get about 4 feet. We also raise wallabies. They're usually about 3 feet high. Now I will tell you, a Wallaroo though is not a mix of a wallaby and a kangaroo. It's its own subspecies. They'll stay in their mother's pouch about 235 days, approximately. And they'll get out to play. And with exotic animals, you have to think everything. With exotics, you want to think of everything in terms of the wild. And even sometimes we still learn things because we don't think about it. So he's getting bigger. So this little pouch that he has, I'm thinking he really needs a bigger pouch. So we've got a pouch literally twice this size. So what does the mom do though? The mom doesn't have a pouch twice that size. He didn't like it. He kept jumping out until I gave him the one that he doesn't really fit in. But he's happier. In that. That's awesome. And so for this guy, he is always with me at all times. So he hangs on the seat, so he can, if he wakes up, he can see me and see that I'm there, but he's hanging in his pouch. Anywhere we go, he's hanging on my shoulder. I actually usually put it where he's behind me because it's a guy with a person. You have to go through that whole thing, which is bad, but it's worse when he pops his head out. It changes the whole game, let me tell you. So there's that, and then at night, even at night, we have 3 of these going right now. So even at night, what we'll do is we hang them on the door so that they can see us if they wake up, so they know that they're still safe. So they do feel like, but they're always in the pouch through all of that. They never leave. Mom, dad, brother, sister. Yeah, most of the time. He's my companion on the road. What do you feed him? So right now he has a Wambaroo, which is what you give babies, baby kangaroos or wallabies. So you give them, it's called Wambaroo. It's a dry mix that you add warm water to. And he gets that 4 times a day. We also supplement him with a kangaroo chow. And they do in the wild, they get grass and water. So their life is good. Any other questions? Yes. No, we're not gonna let him get out the room. Here, really doesn't fit
Get away from me.
Now you're good. Everybody say bye, Boomerang. All right. Okay, I got a couple more animals. All right. We'll just change gears a little bit. Now I forgot to wash my hands with the mammal, so this ought to be good. All right. This is a black-throated monitor. His name's Attila. Everybody say hi. Hi. Attila is a baby. He'll be a year old in November. This animal actually will get to 7 feet, 150 pounds as an adult. He is carnivorous on all levels. Tanzania, Zimbabwe are usually where you find him most. Now, ironically, he's in the monitor family, but ironically, most monitors are decent to good swimmers. He is a very poor swimmer. He can swim, but just barely. Now, he is arboreal. He will climb in trees, and he's pretty good in the trees. He's a good hunter as a breed, and he's kind of quiet. He just ate 5 mice, so he's kind of laid back today. So, all right. Now, they'll live about 25 years in captivity, no problem. And again, remember what I told you, reptiles never stop growing throughout their life. So he'll easily be the length of that table, except, 160 pounds. So they are diurnal. They like to be awake during the day. They do hunt during the day as well. And they are very, very good hunters. Small mammals, for the most part, are what they like to eat. They love to eat rodents. Yes, ma'am. You have a question? I'm sorry. Yeah, they like to eat small mammals. They really like rodents, things like that. But they'll eat other things. They want to make sure they eat a lot. This guy eats more than any other animal I have, probably. Yes. What does he drink? He loves water. And that's all he drinks is water. And they really don't drink that much water. Because remember, they're native to Tanzania or Zimbabwe. It's very hot, very dry. And they do they'll get in a tree and stay up there for the day and sun themselves so they can get as much sun as they can. And then if they do have an opportunity for food, obviously they go to that every single time. They don't stop eating. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. You see, he's just hanging around now. I've seen him also change gears when food's around him. So you have to understand, with reptiles, they have a couple of things about them, especially snakes. So snakes want to eat, but here's the thing. They know if they can consume something or not. If they can't get their head around it, they don't want to fool with it. It's not worth it to them. And they'll literally keep going until they find something that they can. This guy is a little different. He'll take on just about anything, but he wouldn't try to bite your. Bite maybe, but he wouldn't try to eat your. He wants to eat something that he can get a hold of and go. So a little bit different. Any other questions? Now you will notice he has these 2 holes are his ears. So his ears are different than most. So physically, He just looks a little different, but he does have ears. He can hear everything that's going on, unlike a snake that, of course, does not have ears. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Okay, everybody say bye to I'm excited. That's the first time you didn't get one of my shirts. All right. So this is going to be a little different. This is an Egyptian scorpion. All right. So this is an Egyptian scorpion. They're also known as a king scorpion. They aren't the largest. The Asians are actually the largest. The Asians get really, really big. They love insects. They do sting. They are an exoskeleton. So just like the tarantula, 8 legs, and their pinchers actually are how they catch their food. So they'll sting it and then catch it with their pinchers and then consume it. So you notice he's got a couple of crickets. He had 10 this morning. He's down to 2. So they do eat a lot. And he has something really cool.
Would you like to
In the back, we turn now.
Sure.
What does he do?
So just so you know, scientists do not have an answer for this. But that's great. That's not fake. Most people think this is fake. This is total. Oh, I think I lost it. No, I'm just kidding. Can y'all see that? It is my favorite thing. And it's not, really for a show, it's not probably the greatest. I just think it's cool that they are capable. Now, so I know someone who lived somewhere and was having problems getting stung by stuff they didn't know what they were. I said, well, did you take a black light to it because of where they live? Now, where they lived was not in Egypt. They actually lived in Jerusalem. So it's a little bit different. When they when they used the black light at night, there were over 200 of them on their wall. Yeah, that's kind of how they handled it too. But it did work. Ironically, then their bug person all of a sudden he said, "Yeah, that's what we normally do." So, but he didn't know up until that moment. So now there are questions about how this happens. I've been told it's, you will find it when you look it up online. They'll say diet. They'll say all of these things, but scientists have really tried, and there is not one solid answer as to why this happens. But it is unusual in some degree, and you can see everything about him. Now, I will tell you, he doesn't know that I'm doing this, so for him, he will still hunt. So if you keep this on him all night, which I have one, actually this particular container, I can just put the top on it, and it's got a black light on it. We sit and watch him hunt all the time. It's pretty amazing. Now, they have to have certain things about him. He has to have rocks, and we have to move them around. And then he has different covers. I've got his little metal cover now, but I take different covers, and you have to change up their terrain all the time to keep them interested in hunting, or they'll starve to death. They just quit hunting. So they like to have something different all the time. So like once a week, where we clean cages once a week, part of the cleaning theirs is actually making it to where their terrain is different. I know, it's pretty cool. Unbelievable. All right, you can turn the light back on. All right, this was my last animal. Thank you very much.
I'm going to be open until 8 if you see anything you want to check out. There's still some crafts back in the back.
You are most welcome.
Here, what do you think?
Pick it up on
It's different. It's just a
Hey, wait for it.
very good. You did a great job.
No, leave it alone.
On this particular one, couple of weeks. But it would, it's not gonna, it's not detrimental. Oh, no. Actually, out of all the animals I have, the one I would least want is the monitor. So they, I really didn't, no, it's a monitor, it's a black rated monitor. I didn't realize, I started down the road and then I decided to just stop on this. Yeah, he had 5 miles today.
Thank you again.
And he's actually-
What do you do?
They are just walking over like yeah, they're not really. But he's sweet. Well, what he is, he's kind of a yeah, they don't like really below 60.
They can be out.
Now the water snakes would do this, but they really like 72 above. When the swamps goes in the water,